One. Welcome back to the College Football UK podcast brought to you by the AEW Network. I am your host, Fletch, and today I am on my own. I have no friends. Well, that's not exactly true. This is an extra special episode of the podcast. It's being released on the weekend instead. And for that, we needed an extra special guest. Now, for those of us in the UK who've embraced college football and often talk about the pageantry, the atmosphere, the deep ties that colleges and their athletic departments have to their communities, we also talk about how college football is unpredictable, it's chaotic, and it's weird and the wonderful traditions that uniquely follow it. And nobody embraces that quite like the Sickos Committee. Um, this episode is purely for me. This has been my favourite podcast for the past 2 to 3 years. Um,
Wow.
I've been an avid listener, and this guest is all for me. We have Commish from the Sickos Committee podcast. Commish, I apologise for I've just been rambling for about 30 seconds. How are you? It is lovely to have you.
I'm great. It's fantastic. I'm here from my home base here in San Antonio, Texas. So just love to connect in essentially I guess what you want to call going across the pond
Yeah.
with college football. And it's crazy that we have listeners in different countries to our podcast, which I mean is a bunch of rambling anyway. You know,
Yeah.
we never have rails anyway. So
No, you do not.
I think I'll fit right in here, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean that's my brand of thing is waffle. And just it's talking until someone interrupts me to stop me, which I'm sure you'll probably learn over the next 6 hours that we may have this conversation. I hope it doesn't go on that long. I know you've got
I mean, I
time
do have
things.
to pick up my kid from school, so I think I'll have to leave at some point.
Well, oh, you can just leave me rambling for the other four,
Sounds good.
5 hours. It's fine. Um, so I think, like I say, what before we do get into it, we have a don't forget to follow us in the AW on social media. Free to join Discord server, and you can find all the relevant links and information in the description of the episode. If you are on YouTube, they're right below our faces. If you are on audio only platforms, they're inside the app. Um, Sorry to do the housework stuff.
Of
Um,
course.
what we really wanted to know was, I think the best place to start is what is the Sickos Committee? What
Yeah.
Obviously, like I said, I've been an avid follower for 2 years. I'm just starting to just about get the gist of what goes on there because, like you say, the podcast kind of follows a million different things,
Oh yeah.
um, and so does the social medias. But what is the Sickos Committee? How did it start? Where did it come from?
So you know, basically one thing led to another here. So like I used to listen to a couple of different college football podcasts, and in listening to podcasts and following on social media, there was a part of me that grew to get tired of like, hey, who's gonna win the championship? Who's gonna do this? Who's gonna do that? Uh, but going to a small school such as myself, like nobody was ever talking about like the small school stuff. Like there'll be a couple of people, but like the normal like large media outlets would never talk about that.
Yeah,
So there was a couple of different podcasts that I listened to that would basically go in depth on like the plight of like the smaller schools in like the Sun Belt Conference, Conference USA, the Mountain West and the MAC. We love all of those. Um,
yeah,
like those are like it's our bread and butter. The group of five or group of six, no. And
yeah,
so nobody would talk about that. And following a couple of different podcasts, the pandemic hit in 2020. Um, and then like a bunch of our podcasts were just like, we're gonna have to cancel.
yeah,
Then they created a Discord server, I think maybe in like September for the weird 2020 COVID college football season.
yeah,
They created a Discord server. I joined in immediately and started to meet a bunch of other folks that were rather like-minded, and I started to rank games on how strange the games were, or quote
yeah,
unquote how sicko. Like, what game would a normal college football fan least choose to watch first?
yeah,
And because that stuff interests me. Like, I love the matchups where it's like the worst offense in college football versus the worst defense in college football. Like, I
yeah.
love that. Or I love like teams that are both 0-9 and like something's got to give and somebody's got
Yeah,
to get a win. That's the thing that attracts me to the sport. And don't get me wrong, I'm watching the top, whatever
yeah,
happens in the top 10, who could win the national championship. I'm still watching that. But the stuff that fascinates me the most is the rest of the sport. There's I mean, in Division One itself, you have in FBS, you have, like 110 schools that are just basically would likely be happy just to make a bowl game, no matter what bowl
yeah,
game it is. And so that's the stuff that fascinates me. I start ranking this stuff, and I do it throughout the 2020 season, just inside this Discord, where we have on behind our Patreon, and by doing that, it starts to get kind of popular inside the Discord. They were just like, okay, we're gonna kick you out of this channel and make your own little channel for the Sickos Committee. Um, 2021, when the season starts, I start posting on Twitter along with the games on the weekends. So I start doing this. I use the Sickos face, which is Ward Sutton or Stan Kelly from The Onion, the satirical newspaper. We get to about 4,000 followers there. The gentleman who drew the cartoon, Ward, like reaches out to us and he's just like, hey, like as long as you don't use this image for profit or anything like that, you can still use it as like your avatar.
yeah,
Because that's what we feel like. We're like, I'm watching this ridiculous game that nobody else is watching. This feels kind of it feels kind of wrong, but it's just like we're just watching college football.
yeah,
And we started calling ourselves the sickos because we're the ones that can't get enough of college football. Like no matter
yeah,
who's playing, we love it. And we're not like calling your team sicko or whatever. Like we're the ones that have this affliction that we can't stop watching college football.
yeah,
And so the account slowly starts to take off. We start doing rankings via on the most insane Google spreadsheet, Google Doc poll that you'll ever see. Shout out to our Lord of spreadsheets, Kevin, who manages this thing, which is absolutely ridiculous. Um, 2022 comes around, we start to get a little bit more popular. We start the podcast. We decided to do the podcast. Like Jordan and I, we met and watched Texas play my little school. So Jordan's a Texas fan, and my little school went to go play them in 2022, ULM, University of Louisiana Monroe. First time I met him in person, we decided to do the podcast, which just happened to be the same date that Iowa beat South Dakota State uh, on the, I guess you could call it the gentleman's touchdown or the Iowa
yeah,
touchdown, whatever you want to, where they only scored a field goal and two safeties and they won 7-3. Um, so it just seemed like it was the right time for that. Fast forward, I mean, I, it's 2026. We're still doing this account. It's still ridiculous. We have so many followers that I couldn't even imagine. It's just such a blast. It's a lot of fun, and we like fun. That's what it is.
yeah,
Like I know college is like it's a business. You want to talk about NIL, you want to talk about uh, you know, conference realignment, all these serious things or whatever in the sport. It's just like, yeah, there's a lot of people that talk about that, but there's not folks that can find an angle where stuff is fun and we pay attention to a lot of the things that not many people pay attention to,
yeah,
and we use our platform to bring that attention and bring like cool things and cool stories from like every different school that has a story,
yeah.
and we like to tell those stories. It's just a blast.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the best things. And obviously, look, being in the position that we're in, there are a few podcasts and things like that that are in the UK. We
Yeah,
have a great community of college football people. We have our own top 25 media poll, that has like 30 members in it because of the growth of the college football. So, but we understand our place. A lot of our listeners are somewhat new to college football, and we're doing those things and trying to get people to grips with it. However, most listeners will know. And I think, in fact, if the episode that we released 3 days ago that we're actually recording after this,
okay,
is about the future of the playoffs and
yeah,
what do the future of the playoffs look like. And these are the kind of But every week I would be remiss, and everyone knows me for generally being. I started college football because I started watching American football, supported the Detroit Lions, and then naturally just Michigan followed.
Yeah.
Because all of my friends supported Michigan who liked football. Um, but in the last couple of years, every single week I get at least one reference into Kennesaw State because I've just embraced Kennesaw State, the best
I
team in
mean,
Georgia. Um, and the run that they've been on under Coach Mack and
woohoo.
everything like that.
Yeah.
I've absolutely loved watching watching over the last couple of years, getting into midweek MACtion, getting into
Oh yeah.
weekday conference USA, and
Yes.
really getting into where where it feels it's getting a lot more corporate and things like that at the top of
Yeah.
college football, and where the heart and soul is for the better terms is in those G5 schools, it's in the FCS schools, and that's where
Yeah.
the passion is as rich as it has ever been, and where so many of the incredible traditions and things
Mhm.
like that come from. And it's amazing and been such a great sport. And when what you guys do is obviously you cross over into a lot of other sports as well.
Oh
I've
yeah.
been loving your coverage of the Winter Olympics so
Oh man,
far.
we got more coming tomorrow on the podcast, which would be
Yeah,
Thursday, the 12th, whenever you listen to this. But yeah, we like in the off season, I give everybody a license to just go crazy, because there's a certain point where you kind of get burned out on college football, like throughout the season, because we're up. Like when the first game kicks off, we're there until like the end, the Hawaii test, which is it sometimes ends at like 2 a.m. Central Standard Time. Uh, which I mean your time, that's a whole new
8
day
a.m.
for you, I think.
8 a.m.
Uh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So you can wake up at 8 a.m. watch Hawaii football in the UK, which I mean it ends there. So it's just there is
yeah,
there's a thing that we enjoy it. We enjoy all the stories. I don't care much about the records of the teams. I care about the matchups.
yeah,
Um, I don't care about like things that are. It's like, hey, you know, it's a bummer that they lost this. They lost their chance to make the playoff. Again,
yeah.
I'm looking at like historic anomaly. You talked about Kennesaw State. We actually got to interview the head coach
Coach
in
back.
the Bear Bryant Awards,
Yeah,
which is behind our Patreon wall. We got to interview him in person, Jerry Mack, which I mean, we started recalling plays for some of their games, and he was like, "Whoa, you remember this?" I was like, "Yeah, man, 4th and 14. They picked that one up. That was a big one. That was a wild game against." We talked about the mindset of like the rematch with
yeah,
Jacksonville State at Jack State for the Conference USA Championship. So there's and like there, it's things that we pay attention to the little like nooks and crannies, to the little details, and we try to bring attention to them. And on the weekends, our timeline is just a flood of constant thought of anywhere from 8 to 10 different people could be on the timeline at the same
yeah,
time and just yelling about, FCS Monmouth football, or like yelling about, Texas just had a punt blocked or something.
yeah,
And we're all over the place. And because all the games are all over the place. They're all over different, they're all spread out, they're all over. And we just try to emulate and cover it that way because there's just so much. And you only get maybe 4 months of it, maybe now five.
yeah,
But we, you in like April, you're gonna be dying for that midweek action game. You're gonna be dying for the wagon
yeah,
wheel of Kent State versus Akron. You're gonna be. So we try to catch as much as humanly possible of it because we love it so much, and it's just
yeah,
seeing the broader community. At first everybody's like, oh, you see the name Sicko, and you automatically have like a negative connotation of that name
yeah,
in which we try to operate social media as like we have two strikes on social media already. Like we try to be overtly positive to just maintain, I guess, like to get that word sicko. Hey, it means something different here for us than it
yeah,
does for like your normal everyday use of it.
Yeah, and I think that's the best part of it. I think is it's that whole you know the memes where it's like you must be sick if you enjoy this, and then you've
Yes.
got the person sat in a hospital bed
Yeah. Yeah.
like I'm very
Person, you must be sick if you're up watching Hawaii versus Wyoming at 2 a.m. in the morning. That's us. We're there. We're watching it because, I mean, we got to interview head coach Timmy Chang, which is crazy. Because
yeah
like I was interviewing Timmy Chang at this time of day, and he was dropping off his kids after to school in the morning. Like he pulled over, and we were just chatting with him in his car. So it's just it spans everything in the country, and we just love it so much, and all the weirdness, all the weird history of it. Like I'm doing historical research right now on a 47 game winless streak for Columbia University in the 1980s. And we're working on a podcast series for that because I just want to see like how something like that happens.
yeah
And I like to go game by game over that, which is it fascinates me. Like we did the Prairie View A&M one, which was an 80 game losing streak. I went. I mean, like what happened is like there was I mean, the athletic department, there was like attorney generals in Texas, the indicting people in the athletic department. The football program could have completely went under if they didn't choose to basically go through all that pain to maintain the program. And you watch them this year nearly win the
yes
Celebration Bowl, the HBCU Celebration Bowl, in like quadruple OT, which I mean, after doing something like that, I have such a huge appreciation for Prairie View football even existing,
yeah
and we become fans of schools like this. We love this
yeah
stuff. It's crazy.
and that was kind of my thing with Kennesaw State, and
Yeah,
was as kind of I guess last year as I'm like because we've been doing this, we've just completed our second season as a podcast now.
yeah,
And as we were starting our first one, I was like, well, I have to fully embrace myself and immerse myself into the G5 or the G6 as it is
yeah,
now. And I went, well, technically, I mean, I know MACtion, I know Conference USA, I know the American Conference, but I've never tried, not really dug deep into. So I feel like it's still new to me. What else is new to what else is new to the group of six that year? Well, Kennesaw State are brand new to the group of six that year. Why not? I'll give him a go. And then you start learning about the history of how they are the winningest startup program in college football history, and how um and all the different things that kind of go into it, and the Bohannon era, and how he stuck with them throughout the entire process. Obviously, it was a crap first
yeah.
year in the FBS,
Hmm.
but you do, and you really come across you do those things where you find yourself with even if it is just an appreciation for the existence of a school or a part of the history. And one of the best series I think I've heard you do. I was having a crap couple of weeks at work, I think back in April, I think it was. And I will say that you got me through personally, you and the guest that you had on at the time, as you were going through the Northwestern losing streak
Yeah.
and all the
Which I have a
different.
Northwestern shirt on right now.
Yeah. And it was one of the it was so interesting. So I'm there. I did not like my job for a few days, but then I'm kind of going, okay, a lot of people have had it way worse than I have.
There
I
is
can get through it today.
there is some like aspect you just grow to like an appreciation and you love the game because I mean I went to Louisiana Monroe like we are like that school the Warhawks we are like basically the bottom of rung of FBS inside the state inside our conference inside of the entire like FBS period. They've only ever been to one bowl game in like 2012. They have upset like ranked team. They upset like ranked Arkansas in that season. They almost beat Auburn that year too. There's there's like a factor of that when you see these teams that are historically awful for so long, or like a team. I mean, hell, take Indiana this year. Like this, like we had. a series in 2023 in the offseason. We had the best season of all time for teams who are below 500 all time.
Yeah.
And we went through like 40 different schools where their historic record is below 500, which I think, that just like their historic record is losing basically. And we went through and found their best seasons of all time. Like the Indiana one was 1945. We have to rewrite that one 2 years in a row now for Indiana, which like things like that, to know the history of the program, to appreciate
Yeah.
where the program is, to understand that not all schools are equal.
Yeah.
Not all funding is equal. Not all alumni is equal. Not all facilities are equal. It kind of reminds me of, I love FBS, and it reminds me of kind of like the English football pyramid a bit, which I have a great appreciation for that thanks to playing FIFA and like Football Manager and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I love, like, I took like League Two Grimsby Town, the Mariners, to like the Premier League in FIFA, and I've been following them since like 2010. So like, like I love stories like that. I attach
Yeah.
myself to teams. And growing up in New Orleans, even though I live in San Antonio now, I grew up with like historically bad football, like the New Orleans Saints, just
Yeah.
awful. I grew up watching Tulane Green Wave that played in the cavernous Superdome. There's like 3,000 people in a stadium that fits like 72,000, and watching stuff like that. You grow an appreciation for it, and then when you watch their rise happen,
Yeah.
or them unexpectedly having a phenomenal season, I feel like you appreciate it more because you
Yeah.
know where they've been, instead of just like, hey, let me just, you know, hop in like, wow, they're great this year. Or,
Yeah.
it's, and I try to promote that. And we try to promote that as like a social media thing, is like, hey man, this is cool. Look at this school, what they're doing. And every single school has a different recipe or a different definition of what success is.
Yeah.
And to understand what success is to a certain fan base, you have to understand the team, the school, the history, and everything. And we try to give you all that.
Yeah.
On Saturday, it's a fire hose of football. But the rest of the time, we're giving you nuggets on the
Yeah.
podcast. We're giving you cool things to talk about during the
Yeah.
season, sometimes in the off season too. And in the off season, we're just like, we're just anything that's fun and cool to talk about, like
Yeah.
the Winter Olympics.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you say there about the English football pyramid, and the conversation I have a lot with people over here, as I'm sure you can imagine, what we tend to see is in the States, it's college football first. There's a reason that the NFL can't really touch Saturdays. And it's not because they don't want to, it's because I think they know they can't. Because college football will win out on that battle. Um, and with colleges having such deep ties to generations of families, to communities, to um, and obviously it doesn't. You don't need to have. For example, for myself, I don't need to have gone to Michigan or Kennesaw State to appreciate
No,
it, and that. But there are so many families that it. I went to Michigan, but also my family up to my great granddad went to Michigan.
yeah,
It They're so deeply rooted in family and tradition and generations that when you look at things like the NFL and trying to get people naturally just follow the NFL a bit more around here, over across the pond because the NFL have pushed it a lot harder.
big time.
But also you try telling someone that yeah, okay, over here you've got Barcelona, Real Madrid, but over here you've got Grimsby Town versus Stockport County.
Yeah,
Which one are they going to choose when they have no real tie to the game and the sport and things like that?
you're gonna choose the bigger game because it's the
It,
bigger teams and the bigger promotion, bigger production, everything. Uh,
exactly.
I love watching, like, just because watching the smaller schools, you don't have the glitz and glamour, you don't have the crazy intros, you don't have the insane camera angles, you don't have all of you just have like ball, like just
Yeah.
football at its whole. Like here in San Antonio, we have an FCS team, Incarnate Word. Incarnate Word, which I mean, they've made some hay in the FCS playoffs, gotten pretty far, gotten to like the semis and quarters,
Yeah,
in recent history, which they are a solid program, but like their whole like experience at the game, it's just a football game. Like there's
yeah,
not incredible production. There's not. It's like you're here for just football, and you just want to watch football, and that's what for the most part it is like I just want to watch some football like it's on TV, it's there.
yeah,
I mean, like they had a crazy highlight that I caught for them last year where their wide receiver Jalen Waldhall like did a headstand, and then it made its way the very next day to like your Lions.
yeah.
um
With that one, St.
it
Brown.
was St. Brown doing the headstand the very next day
Yeah,
after like a highlight that I caught because I'm the idiot watching Incarnate Word. And I took a video with my stupid phone, like my iPhone, because I couldn't get the capture of it fast enough, like on the computer. And I just threw it up there, and I mean, probably our most viral tweet uh last year, which is like stuff like that. It spreads. It's great. It's fun. It's positive. It's a good
yeah,
time. I mean, there's enough arguing and hot takes everywhere. Like
yeah,
I don't need that. I don't want to feed that machine. There,
yeah,
we're about fun. We're about vibes, I guess, so to
yeah,
speak. We're sending good vibes. We're sending positivity. Um, because it's a blast. All these games are so much fun. It doesn't matter what happens in the game either. Like they're like, oh, it's
yeah,
boring. I'm like, no, this is fascinating. This is amazing how this game turned out this way. Like the Super Bowl that just passed. We're watching them kick field goals all over the
yeah,
place. And I'm like, the team where the field goal kicker went to Marist University,
yeah,
FCS, which is Pioneer League, and they don't even have any scholarships. That whole league is non-scholarship, so it's kind of like a fancy Division 3 non-scholarship team, but playing Division 1.
yeah.
And I love their stadium because they always have a bouncy castle at one end zone. Is that what they call that in the UK? Like the
Bouncy castle. Yeah,
inflatable castles
yeah,
where you
bouncy
have
castle. Yeah,
kids. Yeah, it's a bouncy castle in the end zone. We're gonna sponsor that bouncy castle next year, I think. So just just fun stuff like that, like
yeah,
touchdown in the bouncy castle end zone is what we're here for, man. It's I want to unplug from the real world, which can be a bummer with everything that's going on. I want to unplug. I want to inject some joy into the world, and college football lets us do that a
yeah.
lot.
Um, no, I completely agree. And one of the best things is like I say, I was going to try and make the point of just when I talk to people from the UK who 90% of the time they turn around and they say, "Oh, but it's just blowouts. It's just every week it's blowout after blowout after blowout." The amount of people who, number one, say, "Well, watching college football this year or last year or whatever has made my appreciation for the draft that much better," and things like that. So I know and all that sort of stuff's great, but I think there are very few sports that truly can match or come close enough to what would be English soccer and the English soccer pyramid than things like football, because you talk about clubs being integrated into communities for
Oh yeah,
generations. I'm a Manchester City fan. I have been since since I was born. Although I did offshoot from my family a little bit. My dad was a Manchester United fan.
ooh,
I wanted to wind my dad up and as a child and said, I
yeah,
support Manchester because one of my friends at school, his family were season ticket holders at Manchester City. So I wanted to wind my dad up. And then obviously United were hugely successful at that time. At any point, I think I realised very young, if I say I'm joking, Dad, I'm actually a Man United fan, I'll look like a glory hunter. I can't. So I grew up with a very bad Manchester City team that I kind of put myself into. I backed myself into that corner. It was my own fault. But you grow up with that. I grew up with that appreciation of my gran. She was in the 1930s. She worked at the car park or the parking lot at Main Road and got paid a £1 or I think it was £1 per car that came in to help maintain. basically just keep an eye on it as a child, and how the club's integrated into my family and
Yeah.
back all the way back into the 1930s, and how how clubs do that. We talk about there's a lot of that debate at this moment of the European mind can't comprehend, and it's white out at Penn State, or but then the argument back of German ultras or Italian ultras, and I hate this argument because there's so much more in common.
Yeah, I mean sometimes I think maybe we do like one of those. It's just like it's tongue in cheek for us, like if we
Yeah,
do something like that. But like yeah, you can comprehend like seriously, like if you're looking at I mean two relegation teams in like League One, or if you're rooting for Sheffield Wednesday this year,
yeah,
like they have negative points because of, they were in administration.
yeah,
Something like that. You have a team, you can understand, I guess, the pecking order of the college football world if you base it off of the English football pyramid, which is it's fun. Like, you got the Michigan fan, which I mean, you're in the premiership, right? You're
yeah,
you're you're Michigan in your premiership. If you start messing around with like something that's near Michigan, like Eastern Michigan, you're probably looking at them and maybe like lower championship, League One, League Two, maybe, depending on the year.
yeah,
And they're really close to each other. There's a lot of folks that go to Eastern Michigan that root for Michigan. So I'm sure there's some that's like you have a little club in Manchester, like
yeah,
you have a Man City fan who's also a fan of like another team right around there in like League One or League Two,
yeah,
which we kind of promote that too because you don't have to just be a fan of one team in college football. We
yeah.
we like to. There was a point I think I did like a flow chart of like who should be your G5 team based off of what team you root for. There was a thing that I always found a way to shoehorn ULM into it uh, for like for like 60 teams, which is a lot of work on my part because I'm an idiot and I'm a glutton for punishment. But and then like last year we did an FA Cup on the
Yes.
on the blog. I'm gonna do it again this year, where there's like 767 or 766 college football teams throughout all levels, and I mirror it to the English FA Cup, like all the way through like the opening rounds, where you're talking about like National League South or
Do
West or like just way down there.
on on that topic, I remember it right. So I'm going to
Yeah,
feed you back a few months ago. So I was before I ended up. I was in way too many Discords. I think I just cleaned up my Discord and then
yeah,
started again. I need to get back in the Sickos Discord, the Run Pass Option Discord.
yeah,
Um, and I don't know if you remember, I mentioned it in the Discord that I loved the idea and wanted to see if I could figure it out myself. And I think I tagged you specifically.
yeah,
And I sat there and bear in mind, like, I'm no longer in that job that I didn't like. I got in a lot of trouble because you get an hour for your lunch break, and I spent 2 hours because I had a notepad, like just a tiny little notepad, a
yeah.
pen, and I was going, right, so there are 136
Yeah,
FBS.
the
There
math
are
to break it
100.
down was insane. I was trying to figure out how many rounds, which I gotta shout out Lower the Spreadsheets, Kevin again. He had the math.
Yeah,
And I was like, I was trying to do it. I'm gonna do it again this year on the Beehive blog that we have. I'm gonna do it again. We already have the final 767 or whatever, or 766. I can't even remember. There was one team that basically shuttered football this year towards the bottom of it, which
yeah,
um, I can't remember the exact number, but I'll look at it. But we're gonna do the rounds again, like making the brackets for everything for all these like these seeds. It was such a time-consuming thing, but I love it, and I wanted to just play it out because I wanted to basically show that college football is just so much more than the
yeah.
top. it's like your top 25. Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. That's what you want to pay attention to. It's okay. It's your normal fandom. You're gonna gravitate to who's gonna win the title. That's what you do. You want to know who's gonna be number one.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know that. Everybody wants to know who's gonna win the national championship. That's a natural like fan thing. Like you want to know who's going to win the Premiership this year. Like who's going to win, the Bundesliga. Who's going to win La
Yeah.
Liga. Who's winning the Champions League. You want to know that stuff. You're probably not asking the questions like who's winning the Europa Conference League,
No.
or who's winning Europa, um, or like who's coming up from League One, or who's
Yeah.
who's going to be, coming up from like the EFL League Two,
Yeah.
which I mean, like you don't really spend a lot of your time and energy on that. Like your normal fan is
Yeah.
not going to do that. But being like a Sicko fan, I want to know all these weird things, all these weird stories, because if it happens, I mean, we've been talking about it. We're
Yeah.
like we know, and then like you see, like wow, this is an amazing story for this team. I was like, yeah, man, we've been talking about Kennesaw State, and we put in a really janky chainsaw because they want to call like they want to call their home stadium the Saw, and we even told Coach Jerry Mack about that, which which I mean, it's awesome. Like Delaware's quarterback, you know, an amazing story. Delaware decides to come up to FBS from FCS. They make a bowl game in their first year.
Yeah.
Uh, they win the one in the '68 Ventures Bowl. It's like those little stories are super cool and super fun because like the town itself, like Delaware is the university, the
Yeah.
students that go there, which Delaware is a really big university if you don't realize that. But that whole town, that whole campus is on fire for winning that bowl game in their first ever FBS year. Um, like it means so much to those folks, even though the folks that are on TV, uh, talking about, the folks that go on the Feinbaum show that want to know anything about the SEC or,
Yeah.
like what's going to happen here, what's going to happen there. It's just, yeah, a lot of people talk about that. I don't want to talk about what everybody else is talking about.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the fun stuff, the good stuff,
Yeah.
the undercard, so to speak. And when we do our weekly game rankings, that's what we want to highlight too. It's like, dude, this game is going to be fun. How awesome is it going to be? Or like for whatever, it's basically it's like we're almost kind of counterculture a bit to it,
Yeah.
but not like contrarian, but like we're like, hey, man, you should probably watch this game too.
Yeah.
Like this team has the best offense and this team has the worst defense. What the hell is going to happen here? You think this
Yeah.
is what's going to happen? Yeah, we like to highlight that stuff, and we even use like stats. We even use metrics. Like we even do stuff like that. It's just we kind of throw the numbers on their head, and like, hey, what if we do it this way? Like, all right, we do it that way, and compared to like, hey, this is the team that has the best offensive line or
Yeah.
the best rushing attack due to this. I'm like, well, who's at the bottom and who are they playing? Like let's check that out because that's
Yeah.
fun.
It's those again I appreciate watching the movable objects versus the
Yes,
stoppable forces. I love
yes,
those kind of games.
yes. Those
Um
games are so much fun.
and I think I'm just gonna I think this does get into kind of the point of what makes a sicko and what
Yeah.
really encapsulates a sicko. So um one of my favorite soccer games ever that I've ever seen was it was like 4 leagues below League Two. It was my parents moved from Manchester to Durham, just outside of Newcastle, and Durham has one of those proper little local football clubs where the ground capacity is about 1,000. Um, I mean, so my dad really wanted to go. He was like, "Look, we're in Durham. We need to go and at least watch one game there." And I was like, "Oh," I went up. I said, "Oh, okay, let's go. Let's go one weekend." For 15 Great British pounds, we got two tickets to the match, a match day program, a burger, and a cup of tea for my dad. Like, you just don't get that at
No.
the Premier League. For £15, you will be lucky if you get to sniff the stadium these days. Um, but for £15, we've got all of that. That number one, that's well, obviously that's the best bit. But that game ended, I think it was 3-2. There were two fights in which one player got a broken nose.
Oh my God.
And the game winner was an overhead kick from the edge of the box.
Oh, wow.
And me and my dad walked away and said, for £15,
Yeah.
we got two tickets to two entry tickets, a burger, a cup of tea, a match day program, and one of the best games that we will ever see. I think again ever because someone got punched in the face just because why not? And an overhead kick goal to win it right at
Yeah.
the end of the game. Like you just don't. That's what meant more, and those experiences and things like that. They're the best part of I think sports in general. As great as the top level side of sports are,
Well,
they're good.
we try to find like equals on because the best games that we think are against two teams that are equal.
Yeah,
And no matter what the level is, and two teams that are they match up well, or their Achilles heel is the other team's Achilles heel.
yeah,
I mean, it's just you know, stoppable force, movable object. Like who's gonna win? Like which one is worse, or which
yeah,
one is actually better? Like there was one this year where I think we watched Kent State versus UMass, and Kent State was on like a 20 something game losing streak, and they barely won their FCS game to break that streak, and then they went to go play UMass, and we were like, okay, this is going to be close. And then it turned out like, holy crap, Kent State beat the crap out of UMass. And that was something that we didn't see coming. And Kent State basically had a near bowl season this year. They went from like losing 26 straight games to nearly making a bowl game if their kick returner, DeRealis Clark, wasn't tripped up by a Ball State, special teamer,
yeah,
that would have been a kick return to the house with like 40 seconds left, and they would have been 6-6 and made a bowl game, which would have been a miraculous season compared to what that program has been going through. So, like watching that, like watching those games, watching like that much fun and being able to highlight that is part of like being, I guess, like a sicko, is the most rewarding part because we get to let these like kids that are playing this sport, like we get to highlight them and shine a
yeah,
light on them, even though we got a silly name, and publicize them as much as possible, because man, you think about this, like 99% or even more of these college football player athletes, this is the last chance that they get to play football. That's it.
yeah,
Like there's no real leagues after this. There's like the CFL and the UFL, but it's still not that many players make it
yeah,
into those leagues either. So we try to celebrate something that it's really cool, and you'll be able to tell your kids about it when they grow up and have kids. They'll be able to tell their grandkids about it. Like, hey, I did this against this, and you know, it's it's something that it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. It's something that a lot of us in the committee would have loved to be able to do, but whatever limitations we have, like I'm not that
yeah.
big, like I'm not that tall. I was a little tiny slot receiver in like eighth grade, and I'm like, I don't think this is for me. I, I enjoyed catching the ball, but like
Yeah.
tackling people, I just was never that angry to hit somebody.
I love so we obviously I know I'm sure you probably like most countries around the world have some form of football league.
Yeah.
We have Britball in the UK. There's the European League of Football that goes across the continent, which somehow the UK doesn't have a team, but that's apparently being worked on, and that's not for me to complain about today. Um, but I go and watch the Manchester Titans quite a lot because again, I love the sport. I don't care what the level is. I love the sport, and um, I went to me and my wife. We have some friends who live over in Liverpool. And because I won't go to Liverpool because I hate the city of Liverpool because intercity rivalries, the best thing we could do was go to a place called Skelmersdale, which is about halfway because I won't go any further because I truly live the Manchester Liverpool rivalry. But just so happens that the Merseyside American football team plays there, and Manchester Titans played the Merseyside Nighthawks one week, and met my wife's friends there. And while we're watching this game get played, Manchester Titans are one of the best teams in the country. They've won two Brit Bowls in the last 3 years. Um, they've been invited to play like the Europa. If you think the ELF is like the Champions League, they've been invited to play the Conference League version of it, which obviously you have to then fund yourselves. And there's not a lot of teams that have that kind of money to do that. Um, but you've got guys there who were from the States and they are about 24, 25, and they played some form of college football. So they're obviously the best players on the field by far. It's not particularly close. And they're there telling you that, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when they were playing DB at I don't know, like Kent State or at Eastern Michigan or somewhere like that, that they obviously played that one game against a Power 4 team.
Mhm.
And actually, when Jameis Winston was at Florida State, they were playing cornerback against Jameis Winston. They got through on for 400 yards, but
Yeah.
they still played in a game against Jameis Winston. And those stories are really cool to hear. Um,
Yeah. I think there was like one social media post that always sticks in my head is college football is magic because sometimes you have like a 12-time All-Pro and future Hall of Famer going up against somebody who's going to be an insurance adjuster, and sometimes the insurance adjuster wins.
yeah,
Just like in that time frame, like just like, hey, I tackled this Hall of Famer, I did this, and so it's something that to have a holistic approach of it, to have like a world, like I guess macro, like way like high in the sky view of the entirety of the sport is fun, and we try to bring that social media wise because
yeah,
I mean, do you want me to just be like another media account that's just like, ah, no, this team shouldn't have made the playoff, or like, why is Notre Dame not, like just it's not fun for me to do that. Like do I want to just drive engagement, or do I just want to
yeah,
post about stuff that's cool and get the engagement naturally? I'd rather just do that. I'm not in it for the likes, honestly, either. Which is kind of crazy to see the account go from me talking about a 3-yard punt by Central Connecticut State versus Miami in like 2021
yeah.
to having, I mean, nearly 160,000 followers on Twitter. Like Blue Sky, we're almost at 70,000 on Blue Sky, which and we're getting schools coming over there now too. So you know, it's weird when people read what I write. It's strange when people listen to our podcast. Like you telling me
Yeah.
that you listen to podcasts, like threw me off. I'm like, people listen to us. It's like I have
Or
stats that show people listen to us, but it still doesn't click that
yeah.
people are doing this. It's so weird.
All 2 hours, and I am specifically using you, Jordan, Pit Girl, etc., to
Yeah,
get me through a rough day at work, and
yeah,
you are scratching the itch that I need, especially
yeah,
in March when I don't know what to do with myself. Yes, the Premier League's on, and I've got other sports going on, but I need
yeah.
that itch, and it's you guys that help and get me through it. There's a couple of things I want to do before we get onto the last little bit.
Okay,
Um, so I wanted to run through one game specifically that stands out in my head as a sicko moment for me this year.
okay, all
And
right.
I think I said to my wife, the day after the game, because she was fast asleep, put it that way, when the game was taking place.
Of course, yeah.
Um, that I said, I think I might have a problem, but I'm okay with it. I don't want you to fix the problem. I like having the problem. And again, this is a game that you guys spoke about.
Yeah.
It was a random Wednesday night slash Thursday morning. The game kicked off at 30 minutes past 12 in the morning over here. And Wake Forest played NC State. First play of the game's returned for a 98-yard touchdown. It is a kick return for a 98-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
You start with a 14-point lead that's eradicated in the first quarter. Meanwhile, there is a mist across the stadium that no one quite knows why. And it looks a bit foggy and it looks a bit off, but we're not
Yeah.
quite sure why. And then you realise that one of the food vendors outside has had a fire in the truck and all the smoke's funneling into the stadium. While the commentators are telling you that it smells a bit like tacos or burritos or something, some sort of smell going on that smells food related, but they don't know why. And I'm sat there going, this is why I'm up at 1:30 in the morning. This is why I'm here at two in the morning for this exact thing. And I was having the time of my life and I was going on social media and think I didn't realize it was a food truck until you guys had posted the clip of the food truck because I
Yeah.
can't really hear what's going on the TV because it's so low down because it's 2 in the morning and if I wake my wife up I'm not doing this podcast anymore. I'm 6 feet in the ground.
Yeah.
Um and just it's games like that I'm just like, that's not happening at Michigan or Georgia. That's not
No.
happening in the NFL. That can only and granted, this is an ACC game.
Yeah.
This is a Power Four conference game.
Yes.
But this can only happen in somewhere like college football or one of the lower leagues in English
Yeah.
football.
Yeah.
And that's what's
Like
it's
something.
beautiful.
The barbecue truck. I even know it off the top of my head. It's Chalk's Barbecue. CHOC, Chalk's Barbecue. We even looked up it's a catering truck. We I think we did it on the podcast like after that happened because like something like that is I think I even sent the smoke to a video on like our YouTube uh to like Enigma's Return to Innocence, like a 1990s hit, where it's a bunch of chants and I had the smoke of the barbecue at the beginning of it, just because I love that moment so much. But like, there's stuff that I'm up. Like, why am I watching Idaho versus Northern Arizona, and the lights go out in the middle of a 2 point conversion? Like, that's not happening at you know, I mean, that's not going to happen at like LSU versus Ole Miss or something.
No,
Uh, like if you're in the walk-up Sky Dome and you got some big sky football out there, like weird stuff happens, man. Because I mean, the stadiums are crazy. The towns that they're in, small towns, uh, small populations. The universities, it's a blast. Like that game was crazy because NC State actually came back and won that one really, really,
yeah,
really fast. And then we actually got to see Wake Forest play in the Mayo Bowl in person, which was wild this year. So, and there was smoke there too from like flares for the mascot, the Tubby, which which we even told them to do flares and they did it like soccer style, which is yellow flares. They recommended six, but apparently they got 12. So yeah, like stuff like that in college football, you're not gonna see that in the NFL.
no,
You're not gonna see stuff like that. Like it's entertainment. It's a game. And that's what we try to bring to the table. It's like this is a game. It's supposed to be fun. These are kids going to school here to play football, a game, and yes, a lot of the kids want to go pro, but a lot of the kids it's not going to happen. Like the overwhelming majority are not going pro. And you get your education, you get stories that'll last you for the lifetime, and it's just so much ridiculous fun to watch all of these things happening in a mass like information dump in your face because there's just so
yeah,
many games going at one time. You got like hundreds of games going at one time, and
yeah,
there's no humanly way possible to watch all of it. And in our social media feed is just like we're gonna try to give you all of that information about every single game at one time as much as as humanly possible, and then we're going to talk about it on the
Yeah,
podcast. We're going to talk about something that like something else is not going to talk about. We're going to
yeah,
talk about we're going to talk about me being at a game at Northern Arizona where I clearly see the extra point miss, but then they review it and then they say it's good, and I'm like, there was no good. Like, are my eyes
yeah,
deceiving me? That was no good. I was right under this goalpost. And then the conference has to issue a statement the next day. It was like, yeah, man, that wasn't any good. I was- like, like things like that happen. They do have like unintended real life consequences and whatnot, but it for the most part, it's just clean fun that's it just I just here to like brighten your day. As you said, you're at work. You know, like
yeah,
you're working through all this, and you're just like, "Hey, man, let's talk about some weird, ridiculous stuff while I'm at my job." Like,
yeah,
for me, doing it as like a side to my normal job, I would just again, I'm doing the FA Cup, as in between my normal job and whatnot, because I mean, it's just so much fun
yeah,
to do this, and the whole thing is like it's supposed to be good vibes, it's supposed to be good fun. I just think it's just the way that the media is built now. It's like you have to generate controversy or you have to have hot takes and opinions. And it's just like, no, we're not going to do that. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to. The only like controversy we'll have is whether, you know, like Jordan wears his glasses in the shower, and we're like, what are you doing, Jordan? Just like what? Or like he called something a slice of cheese, and we're like, do you want me to get a slice of cheese? But we're like, he was talking about a slice of pizza without any context. Uh, yeah, stuff like that. It's just silly. It's supposed to be fun.
yeah,
It's supposed to be a game, man. Like it's
yeah,
all the industries are built around yelling and conflict and divisiveness and
yeah.
you're
Um,
against me. There's a vast conspiracy against me, or
oh well,
no.
that bit's true. That bit's obviously
I
true.
mean, of course, everybody hates your team. It's the refs do too. So,
Your team has
our team.
never lost a game because you were the worst team. Your
No,
conference set the referees against you. Then you've obviously got to deal with Vegas, and they don't like you.
yeah, they don't like you either.
And then there's just sometimes you've got to deal with what God puts out there, and God doesn't
Yeah,
really like you either. So like you've just got to deal with all of those. You've never lost because you were the worst team.
I mean, yeah, ULM is definitely never been the worst.
Um, But it does remind me though of like there was the old phrase that I think I can't remember where I heard it or where I saw it, but it was the best way to find out an answer on like if you've got a question for the internet and you want to find out the answer, the best way is not to find out that answer is not to ask the question, it's to post the wrong answer. No one will rush to answer the question, but they'll rush to tell you that you're wrong.
Yeah,
Um, and obviously don't worry, but what I absolutely love about and I think what I've gravitated to more than anything else is I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the most familiar with Northern Arizona or
yeah,
anything like that. But one, it's the opportunity to learn these things, and like I say, when you listen to using the example of the Northwestern losing streak series, I learned so much.
yeah,
And it's not just about okay, that result happened on that day in 1982. It was this is what happened on the Thursday before, and how the players walked out and did this, or certain
yeah,
players had rallied around to come and mention this to the coach or because they didn't like the coach for this reason. And it's so incredible to learn that history. And I think again, the other thing though that I have most gravitated to is because you do that, because you are about fun and what is interesting and what not everybody else is talking about. So you have almost a free license to just enjoy yourself.
yeah.
Every
It's
single host seems unapologetically themselves and just there to have fun. You all bounce off each other so well, and I think again that's what I personally gravitated to is how you are all just yourselves having a good time.
yeah. It's I mean, just for me, it's I'm just having a conversation with friends at a bar, and that's what it feels like. And we talk a lot about college football because I mean that's what we all have in common. And the fun part for me is you have the dynamic on the podcast, is you have like two the opposite sides of hated rivalries, which is fantastic because you have Pitt girl who's a fan of Pitt, of course, and then you have Beth who's a fan of West Virginia, which is probably one of the most I wouldn't say underappreciated rivalries, but like it's a known rivalry, but it's not the one that you think of off the top of your head.
Yeah,
Like you're thinking like Michigan, Ohio State, you're thinking Alabama, Auburn, you're thinking like, in its heyday, Florida State, Miami, like, in like
yeah,
Texas, Oklahoma, like those big games that you're thinking about. But like West Virginia Pitt is like they're within like an hour, hour and a half of each other, and the name is the backyard brawl.
yeah,
They have specific chants against each other, and we have that dynamic on the podcast because they'll prod each other in unexpected ways, which is fun. And I love the fact that we have like women on the podcast because
yes,
we always joke and say like ladies is sickos too, because there's a lot of women that love this sport that went to this school and they are die hard for their school, and they will just ride to the death for their college football team. Like they will literally fight you over their college football team, and it's an underappreciated aspect that we get to show on the podcast
yes,
because like women love college football. Like it is incredible. Like the NFL like kind of panders to it with the pink uniforms and whatnot.
yeah,
Like not the ones associated with breast cancer, but like the
yeah,
general stuff you can get in the store. And like college football doesn't like there's a lot of women that go to that school there, and they go to that school because they have a good football team, and
yes,
will like just fight you over their team, and they're extremely knowledgeable. You don't have to talk down to them whatsoever. Like they know the game really well, and I'm
yeah.
glad we're able to showcase stuff like that because like one of our representatives, well, we call her Big Sky Bridget. She went to Montana State and they won the FCS title, so we got to experience like the FCS title run through her eyes this year,
Yeah.
which was incredible because they came so close last year and then they were able to pull it off this year.
Yeah.
So that was it was something that it's cool to see, and we're inclusive. I mean, I don't even care. Like you like college football? I don't care. Come join the committee. Like
Yeah.
you're watching Maine play, New Hampshire. I don't care. We're there. I mean, I think there was a bit of trivia, which is funny. Is like, what are the two teams in Division I college football that their universities are on islands? And like one, is Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
The other one, it's Maine. Like Maine, it's campus like right around in Orono, Maine. The whole little thing it's an island like
Yeah.
surrounded by like rivers. It's crazy. It's like you don't think that. Like that's
No.
stuff that we find out and it blows our mind and we hope it blows your mind.
Yeah. I think the best one I think I've seen though is the one in Alaska. Is it Alaska? The stadium in Alaska where it's literally on. It's the blue field.
Oh yeah, the
That's
the uh the
incredible.
high school field. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in uh
Can't
I
remember
can't
where
even
in
say it. It's
Alaska.
Avik. It used to be known as Barrow, Alaska.
Yeah.
They're the Barrow Whalers. Um, one of our favorite follows, college football campus tour, went up there this year. He
I
went to a
yeah.
game, and he walked the stadium. It was eerily silent
Ooh,
around that, and I mean, he posted like 5 minutes of video of it, and it was just incredible, just seeing the sun where it was, and it's just there's a great documentary about it. NFL Films did one about the Barrow Whalers in Alaska, and it's an incredible thing. Like the entire like there's no bleachers or anything either. Like
no.
everybody's just in their trucks right out there watching the game. it's insane. And they almost won the state championship this year too. I think they lost in the championship game.
Um, there is again conscious of time. I'm starting to tail off because
Okay.
um, I think there's I could obviously honestly just could genuinely do a 6 hour podcast, but I also want your child to be picked up and you to not feel
Oh,
like
it's
you
okay.
have to go.
I got
Um,
about 25 minutes left. We're good.
um, but so I want to talk to you about the growth of college football internationally. So
Yeah.
bit of I guess I don't know how aware you are of what our access has been like over the years. But a few years ago, we had BT Sport, which ended up being TNT Sport, which I think is owned still by the same company, but we get slightly different things. It's still TNT Sports. Um, they had three college football games on a Saturday,
Mm.
um, for a few years, but we also had the ESPN Plus,
Ooh.
the ESPN player where, look, for as good as free, you could get a ton of games.
Oh yeah.
Granted, it was on
The plus is huge for me and personally because I have like a little Apple TV thing
yeah,
and that's how I get my quad box on the TV. I get to use the Apple TV with the ESPN Plus app and it's just I
yeah,
just throw four up on one screen right away.
yeah.
Like I just pick them and that thing's on all day long with like four games all day long.
Yeah. And I want to say one of the things I used to love was going around, and I distinctly remember being sat in we had a community festival, like a cultural festival, in my part of Manchester. And we were doing a gospel church service with all the gospel worshippers and all that sort of stuff. And I'm there with one earphone in watching Michigan. I can't remember who we were playing at the time, but I'm in there and the game finished while the thing was still going on. So I was like, okay, on to the next game. Because well, we had that, but then I think 3, 4 years ago, that service got cut off from the UK. We didn't have that
Oh,
anymore, but we still had um, TNT who were showing 3 games a week. Then their agreement with ESPN, because the agreement's always been with ESPN. We've never been able to get an agreement with Fox. The agreement's always been with ESPN. That agreement ended and nobody picked it up.
oh,
So for half a season, we were sailing the seven seas about a
oh,
year or two ago. Then Sky Sports pick it up, they get it for a season and a half, and then at the end of 2024 season, we had nothing again. It was
oh,
nothing apart from a deal with Notre Dame. So all of Notre Dame's home games would get shown in the UK, which is a great thing either way. It's still something, and it makes a lot of sense having Notre Dame in the UK and in Ireland until DAZN steps in earlier this year. They
ooh,
did a deal with ESPN and we got 5, 6, 7, 8 games a week. 2 weeks later, I'm sat in the middle of a room somewhere and I check my phone real quick to find out they've done a deal with Fox, CBS, done a deal with the Big Ten, with the SEC, with all these different. So we've had this season for free 20 to 25 games a week, which is
wow.
how we were able to get NC State Wake Forest at 12:30 on a Wednesday night, Thursday morning, and be able to
Yeah,
watch that. And the games throughout the week, we've got things like the HBCU
yeah.
uh, final, the Celebration Bowl, so we're able to watch that and watch the game go into all those different overtimes. And we've had such an incredible access to it. The deal also covered college basketball, so I was watching Florida State, Virginia last night in the
Oh,
college basketball because I can. And at the moment, it's
yeah.
free. Um, So what we also found out was that DAZN had come up with some of the statistics. So DAZN in the UK also have Serie A soccer.
Oh, yeah.
College football throughout the season was beating Serie A on viewing figures.
Wow.
Which to think that college football beat any type of soccer in any type of viewing
Oh,
figure is incredible. But the viewing figures were incredible. Um, so that again, just an idea into where we're at as a country, as
yeah.
college football access. The NFL spent so much money and so much time in the UK and now across Europe and even now Australia, which is going to be really fun to see next year. Um, What are your kind of thoughts as college football grows? And I want you to bear in mind that we are grown ups, we have thick skin. And if you want to turn around and tell us that it's your game and you don't ever want to hear our voices
Man.
again, you are more than welcome to do so, and I understand it. But how you see it? How is it from your perspective to see the game grow so much internationally?
I love it, honestly. I'm again, I'm not a negative person for the most part. I love to see the game grow because I mean I love the Australian punters. I mean there was like an Irish kicker for Georgia Tech. Uh, like there's stories where I mean my Saints have an Irish kicker. I think it's Charlie Smythe.
They do.
So like my New Orleans Saints in the NFL have it. I love to see the game grow that way. I understand what comes along with the game. There's injury concerns and everything of that nature, the downsides of everything. But I love to see different markets get a taste of it. Like there used to be something in a concerted effort of college football to like go to Japan. There used to
The
be,
the famed
yeah,
video of Barry Sanders accepting his Heisman Trophy like that.
I
Um,
mean, like the Coca-Cola Classic they used to have there. It used to be like the Mirage Bowl.
yeah,
I love, like there was a bunch of stuff in the Tokyo Dome. Then they had some stuff that went to. Now, basically, all it turned into like was the Ireland game, and that's all
yeah,
we would get. Now we're gonna get ACC football in Brazil coming
yeah,
up this year, which is NC State and Virginia, which is normally a chaos game to begin with. So enjoy that, Rio. We're gonna enjoy it too. There is an aspect to the international game. There used to be games that happen all the time. Like
yeah.
they're trying to get a game in Germany. They were trying to get like some games
Oh, I'm
in
very
different
aware,
locations. Yeah,
very aware
they
of the Germany game because it was meant to be Michigan that came over, and the
it
heartbreak
was
when I
like
found out they
Michigan
weren't.
and Western Michigan, but then
Yep.
like whatever happened with the head coach and all that stuff like went down. Uh,
Yeah,
I
we
don't
will not
want
talk.
to hope. Yeah, we don't have to talk
Not for
about that.
today. Not for today.
But like, yeah, there is like things that we love the international flavor, the international
Yeah,
games. We love the the aspect to it because I mean we're gonna watch this. We're gonna watch it. But
yeah,
I'm just thinking about the time you talked about Barry Sanders. In his Heisman year, Barry Sanders played a game against Texas Tech in Japan before his bowl game. In his Heisman year, he ran for 332 yards and four touchdowns against Texas Tech in Tokyo, Japan. So I'm just imagining the Tokyo, Japan football fan that got to witness Barry Sanders put up that in a game. And that's cool as hell. That is something that is unforgettable. That is something that no, you're gonna take the memory of that game.
yeah,
Just like you talking about the header and the overhead kick and
yeah,
punching people in the face on whatever level that you're gonna do it. And people are like, why are we sending over amateur sports or whatever? Like, look, man, these kids deserve to get paid for this, and it deserves to be on like some sort of level that you have with the English Football League pyramid. The smaller clubs that get their people taken from them in the transfer portal deserve to get some sort of like transfer fee back. Like you
yeah,
get like you pluck a 16 or like a 17-year-old star on like somebody in League One and you take them up to the Premiership or something. Like yeah, you need to kick back some money that way. It doesn't work that way yet in the United States, but ideally it should,
yeah,
um, because that'll help the small schools stay afloat. That basically discover and formulate this talent for you that you're going to pick up and try to win a national title with, uh, and compete in bigger levels. There needs to be some leeway, but
yeah,
that's not something there. But that European model that you have for all of that, you got to make the people employees and they got to sign contracts,
yeah.
which in America, the United States of America, not like the entire,
Continent.
hemisphere
Yeah,
of America. Uh, it doesn't seem to work that way because the NCAA likes to drag their feet and just basically they're happy with the status quo.
Yeah.
which the status quo is not good. It's got to improve, of course. But for them to take leaps and bounds to make more international games and like, well, people here are like, oh, I don't want to give up a home game, whatever. It's just like it's one game.
Yeah.
It's you know you're gonna watch it. Hell, go international travel if you can afford it, and go watch your team do something cool and make a lifetime memory.
Yeah.
Or just watch the game, watch them make lifetime memories somewhere in Europe or Australia, in Brazil. I mean, we've had a game in Tanzania, I believe. It was Drake, I think. Let me look that up real quick. Yeah, Tanzania. It
Yep.
was Drake versus like I think of All Stars. Hell, we still have the Japanese game where it's like the Ivy League All Stars.
Yeah.
They play against the Japanese like X League All Stars, which is it's awesome to see something like that. And the Japanese X League is they play football. They're I love to see the game grow. Like anything that can have the game grow is good for the game.
Yeah.
And to find people that appreciate the game, to create new fans. And I mean, like you guys are getting like 20 something games now. I wish you'd be getting like the hundreds of games that we get here, like through the plus, which
Yeah.
would be phenomenal to do something
Yeah.
like that. Or I don't know if you got to use VPNs or anything like that to get more.
There are waters that still exist. The Pacific can be traveled
Yeah.
upon via
Yes.
boat form. Um,
Yeah. I understand
so
that one. Yeah.
the
Big East Carolina fans.
yeah,
Yeah.
huge fans of the East Carolina football team.
Yes.
I mean, just because I've had to get some form of Kennesaw State in, and obviously,
Yeah.
what we say on the podcast is obviously I what read the play by play, close my eyes, and visualize it, and it's always extremely accurate because I can just decipher plays that kind of way mentally. I just know the game so well.
Yes.
So I read play by plays and can just imagine it. Um, but I would say with I don't know if you see how often you see the pictures of when things like the Aer Lingus Classic happens. But last year when Georgia Tech played Florida State, me, Nick, who also co-hosts, and Gary, who also co-hosts this podcast, we all went over. Gary's an FSU fan. Dream day for him seeing FSU come over.
Yeah.
Um, we just did a day trip because literally Manchester to Dublin is 50 minutes in a plane. You go over. I'm gonna destroy something said earlier, and I had to fly out from Liverpool this year. It wasn't my choice. The
Okay.
flights were cheaper, and the flight was 10 minutes shorter. So I did have to go to Liverpool this year. Don't worry, I got my vaccinations for it. Um, so the but going over, I was able to spend from the Friday to the Sunday this year when with the Iowa State Kansas State game.
Oh.
But even there for last year's game and for this year's game, and I know they've done it for before. Dublin puts on a show.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, you get off the plane, you walk through the Dublin airport, and it was, depending on it's balloon arches everywhere. There's
Yeah.
a walkway you can go on, and every part of the walkway is balloon arches. No matter where you go in Dublin, like this year, every pub had purple and silver or claret and yellow. You had all like everyone went out for it. It was a huge occasion, and Dublin. And to be fair to it, the whole country of Ireland, the government really gets behind it and puts stuff on all around the country because, well, people fly from the States to come and watch it. And it's like, well, you've got a week in Ireland, so let's go to County Durham, let's go to let's go all across Ireland and do the golf courses. I don't know why that word left my head then. So it's such an amazing experience to be able to get to go and see it. I totally understand where people come from with the whole losing a home game. And one of the things that makes college as special as it is the home atmospheres and the home stadiums on campus. So I do totally understand it. But it's such an amazing sight to behold and to get to see it in the UK this year.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
as
That's
as
gonna be awesome.
Arizona State and Kansas turn up, and we have a running thing on our podcast. There's two things that I we absolutely love. One of them is Paul Feinbaum. I'm known as Paul Feinbaum's biggest fan. But also we love Kenny Dilly. We do genuinely love Kenny
Oh
Dilly. We
man, I got
the
okay.
story
So
of
I've
Kenny.
I've been on the Feinbaum show twice, um, which is weird. They just put like the Sickos character, and so I've been on it twice talking to Paul Feinbaum, which was ridiculous. And we got a saying out of my first appearance because I said all football is good football, y'all, to Paul. And so that's my like southern drawl, whatever that I have in my New Orleans accent here. And then we got to meet Kenny Dillingham last year at the Bear Bryant Awards. I love Kenny so much as like a person and as a coach, what he did last year, and then this year too, to some degree, when like his entire team got hurt, and they're rolling out Jeff Sims, which is incredible. But I was starting to ask him a question, and then I just basically ended it as like, I don't really have a question. I thought what you did was awesome. And so, like, I mean, look, Kenny's a great coach. He is built for this environment. The NIL, the transfer portal, he is built for this.
Yeah,
And Arizona State going over Kansas too is going to be fun because I love their coach too, Lance Leipold. And he is one of those coaches that worked his way up through like levels, like D3. He had a dynasty at Wisconsin Whitewater where they would win like a bunch of titles, and then like he went to D2, he went to
yeah,
Buffalo, and then he went to like these places that were historically bad, turned them completely around. Kind of like
yeah,
a little bit of Kirk Signetti uh, to him, but to a lesser degree, so to speak. Because like Kurt started in D2, um, but like Lance basically did this in like D3, like non-scholarship. What
yeah,
and he's there. Kansas is a really tough job because you're competing for resources, and no, you don't have the moneyed alumni base like you have compared to like Indiana, where you have like billionaires like Mark Cuban,
yeah.
you know, and Indiana is the biggest school in the nation, essentially. You got a huge alumni base that you can pull on. So that should be a fantastic game. Hopefully, yeah, if they go blue and maroon, that should be good. The color clash can be wrong if somebody wears a blackout kit or something like that. So
Yeah.
hopefully they get the good unis. The one in Ireland this year, I don't know if we're gonna go to that one, but that's
Yes.
TCU, which we love TCU.
Yep.
Uh, the Horned Frogs and their weird social media account, along with you get the drama of Bill Belichick and the North Carolina Tar Heels.
I was debating it this year,
Oh my
and
God.
then just the more I know. To be fair, I was not. I was only debating it when Michigan were likely going to Germany,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, I can't be in Dublin and Munich at the same time,
Yeah.
Frankfurt at the same time. One of them's the school I followed for over 10
Yeah.
years. One of them's I'm going to choose Michigan. I think I'm going to do that one instead. And then obviously that game never happened. So ever since then, I've been all in on Dublin the whole time.
Oh man.
Um, so which we're looking forward to because one of the co-hosts, Nick, he's a massive Patriots fan, has
Oh,
been for 15, 20 years. So he's been really, really excited.
I'm
Um,
sure. It's gonna be interesting. We'll see what they could do if they after they get an off season because he came in, there wasn't a full off season. He signed like essentially
yeah, after the
like
portal and all that sort of stuff, wasn't it?
yeah, it wasn't a full season, so maybe he'll get some better evaluation of talent and whatnot this time. And I think the school won't play around this year, monetarily wise, because I think to them last year it was an embarrassment of what occurred in
Yeah.
some of the games, and I don't think they like that too often there at North Carolina. So we'll
No.
see.
Um. Well, on that note, Commish, I want to
Yeah.
say a huge, huge, huge thank you for taking the time out of your day to come and chat to us about college football, about the Sickos Committee. Um, I'm under the impression there is one more question,
Okay.
and it should be a nice quick one. Have you at all over the last couple of years noticed a uptake or an increase in international viewership? Um, maybe I asked this to Spencer McLaughlin of the Locked On College pod. Um, and I think he wasn't quite sure. I think obviously it'll fluctuate naturally, and you never know with people on VPNs.
Yeah.
But have you at all noticed an uptake in international viewership, especially with the growth of the game and DAZN having the
I will
international?
I will say this on our social media account. We have like an Australian hive. Um, there was this Australian couple on our Instagram who would DM us, and or just tag us in like their stories, and they went all over the United States this year based off of what we would talk about. They went to go see Big Red in Western Kentucky. They went to go see like a couple of different spots. Like one of the main spots we love a lot, and they're watching all the games and they're tagging us watching all the games and all this stuff. And we have a couple of our Patreon members who are Australian members. They're talking about Aussie rules football with us,
Yeah,
and it's been an uptick. And we do have a good bit of like UK fans, which is incredible, including yourself. Which is it's weird for us because again, I'd never thought something like this. Like I did this on accident, basically. Like
yeah,
I started doing this on accident. I didn't think I was like maybe I'll get like 1,000 followers one day. Like do I think did I think this media thing would come out of it would be anything? No. No, I did. But I mean like we were basically partners for a bowl game. We were, we sponsored a D3 bowl game. We did all this stuff, like all this international stuff too. Like the international fandoms that we have, like I think we got like some German fans. I'm gonna do a podcast on like picking my Bundesliga team now. Like jokingly call it the Bundesliga Bachelor because I don't have any fandom there. I'm gonna try to find a fan, like find one.
yeah,
Like there is an international flavor to the college football game. You're seeing more and more players that come through international ways. You're seeing. I love the punter for like Georgia Tech. That was just like I taught myself. I woke up early in the morning to punt in the fields before nobody was awake because I would have to explain myself. And we understand that person because me trying to explain this to somebody that doesn't know
yeah,
what we do is it sounds insane. Like me trying to explain this to my parents was just, just like, uh, dad, mom, I stayed up late watching Akron football again, and their mascot is a kangaroo, and I really love it so much.
not
You know, it's
not
the
to
so much
not
flavor, so
not
much
to
fun.
not to
It's
compete
awesome.
on that one, but I want you to imagine me telling my mum that one.
Yes. You you
So
got
no,
you got it.
that's
You got it. You got that over me. I'll give you that. Like there's a different level to what you guys have to go through just to even watch the game. Like
um
just to even watch it, like to go through the hoops that you have to do to even, you know, I mean, to become giant East Carolina fans,
that
and just to watch stuff like that. It's like me trying to figure out, like I know you say you had like Serie A, like me trying to watch Serie A over here is not necessarily as easy for you over there.
yeah,
And it's there's a level of dedication that you have and that anybody
yeah,
listening to this podcast has that I have an appreciation for because it is like you're doing something international. Like you said, you're staying up to 12:30 a.m. your time to watch Wake Forest NC State.
yeah. That's the kickoff time, and then you've
That's
got
the
the actual yeah,
kickoff. The game's not over until like maybe like
yeah,
3:30, depending on how many commercials. But like something like that, and like you're sleeping at your normal job. We have like folks in our Patreon that do that, and
yeah,
I can't understand that. Um, but I truly appreciate the level of dedication what
yeah,
you do, and we love, oh, man, like the perspective that you bring to the game
yeah,
because like we've always had football here, but like you being a new fan of it is something that it adds a level of appreciation that I never think I could have for the game because of like if you're doing this, like anybody listening to this podcast that's a fan of like CFB in UK and in Ireland that watches that, there's another level that you have to get to that, you know, me jumping through hoops to watch Grimsby Town is basically like you jumping through hoops to watch Wake
Yeah.
Forest and NC State, plus the lack of sleep. Because like you're giving up sleep, man. You need some rest. And I give up sleep when I stay up to 2 a.m. to watch Hawaii
Yeah.
in that
That's
way. But like you're having to jump through even more hoops than what we can even imagine. And
as
it's an extra level of, I guess, the
as
UK sicko, so to
yeah,
speak.
I guess as I said to my wife, I'll sleep when I'm dead. It's fine. Um, so when for those across the pond who aren't familiar with the Sickos Committee, who do want to listen to you talk about Northern Arizona, um, where can they where do they find the Sickos Committee?
So I mean, we're everywhere. We're here, we're there, we're every. Can I cuss on this or no?
If you want, yeah.
Okay, we're here, we're there, we're every fucking where. So you know, we're Spotify. You know, any place you can get a podcast, we're there. We have a Beehive blog, social media, Twitter, Instagram. We have Blue Sky. I mean, we got a subreddit, the Sickos Committee subreddit. We have like, I mean, there's so many. We have like a Twitch channel. We have, I mean, there's so many different things you can find us on, and we're there. We just don't have Facebook. You know, that's. I think we have TikTok. I think. I don't. I think our younger Canadian one operates that because I don't understand that. I'm an older gentleman, so uh, I'm not the TikToker. But we make video clips. We got YouTube, all that stuff. You can find us everywhere,
You are.
and
It's on your link tree.
it is on the link tree. I set that up, so I did do that. We have a lot of stuff there. And I mean, join us. We're never going to judge you for your fandom
No,
either. We
no,
don't. We don't care what level of fan you are either. If you want to learn, we operate on the principle like, you know, every day like 10,000 people learn something new.
yes,
And you know, not everybody knows about everything, and we're not
no,
going to like jump on you. How could you not know this about college football? We're not going to do that. Other people may do that. We don't. We love to share knowledge. It's awesome.
yeah. And as is always the case, as most people know by now, the link tree and a couple of the extra links will be in the description of the episode, as is always the case with every guest. I want to end by giving you one quote from a very very wise quote that I live by. In this house that we believe, the Sun
Oh,
Belt is the fun belt. Play more ball games, run the triple, never kick a sad field goal. We like big punts, big sky bangers. Hawaii is the final test. Weeknights are for the Mac. Dumb sweet dome. Let the band play neck, and all football is good football. Um, it's just a quote that I live by. I've got it tattooed on my back as well. Everything. But no, it's a quote. It's a quote you live by, especially in this
yeah.
house. Um,
That's
and if you
that's what it
want,
is, man. That's what it is. That's it. That'll boil down the committee to you right there.
and if you do want if you don't want you can have a t-shirt, a towel, a
Oh,
mug, and anything with
all of that.
that saying on the Sickos Committee site ships to the UK, and
They do.
I mean, I'm guessing with whoever your partner is for it, they will have a base in the UK anyway that I think will naturally
They
just
do.
ship
Yeah. Fourth
made
Wall
in the UK.
does shipping and there. So they're like our partner in the
Yeah.
store. They do have shipping. If you
So
wanted to get any of our gear, which is cool.
you don't need to do that weird thing where you have to go onto an American site, set up a weird American account, pay for it in
Nope.
dollars, and then get it shipped
Don't do
out.
it.
You can pay in Great British pounds and get it shipped straight to you, and it seems to come very, very quickly. So you can do that. Appreciate you very much, Commish. Thank you, and hopefully speak to you again soon.
I mean, thank you so much. If you ever need anything, reach out. Don't hesitate. Email. We appreciate it. And thank you for this. And I'm off to go pick up my kiddo.
Enjoy.